Hey guys, Scott with Flippin Customized, and today we're doing a full tour on the square body shop truck. I had a lot of questions, concerns, comments about the shop truck and how we did things and what we did and what does this look like, how'd you do that. So I'm just gonna kind of do an overview, a walk around, and then drop a comment if you want something like specific or detailed below, and we'll get into it further. But I just want to give you guys a once over of where this truck came from, which essentially was a year ago in June, so a year ago now. We found this thing sitting outside of a barn down in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, for about 25 years. It was literally part of the ground, and I will drop a photo and to show you guys kind of what it looked like. But the patina on it is original. So let me show you the truck. All right, let me give you the walk around here. This is an 83 GMC C1500 square body truck, and we found it, like I said, it had nothing on the back of the cab. The cab was in very rough shape. I know it still looks like it's in rough shape, but believe it or not, a lot of work went into the floors on it, new floor pans, new rockers. There's actually new cab corners behind those license plates, new cab supports as well. We actually found this bed with no wood on it or anything out of a guy had it on his 66 Chevy truck. So it was a kind of a seamless fit to a point. We had to modify some of the mounts, but then we added the rough cut lumber to it, and that essentially was a log, an oak log last fall that we had my neighbor mill out and milled it, roughed it, burned it, and my chicken, of course. Why wouldn't we have a chicken in the filming? And from the back of the truck here, you get a good shot of the bumper. Again, same oak log, and that was linseed oiled and burned as well. We put a horseshoe on there, nice little rusty chain hanging off of there, and our spider web, and the frame was clear coated. And a little view from the back, it looks like a cooler. Essentially it is a cooler, but that's actually our toolbox. So you never leave home in a rat rod shop truck without a toolbox. So we keep our tools in there, as well as possibly some cold beverages if we had to or wanted to. Underneath the truck there, we've done a ton of work to it. As you can see, it's all been coated. Like I said, the thing looks ratty, but it's actually a pretty solid truck. The rear end is locked. We put a spool in it. This thing will shred a set of tires, and if you've seen the other videos, we do that probably more frequently than we should. Found these nice set of old Chevy rally wheels. A guy had them on his old C10. They were beat up silver. We went with like a canvas white on them. They actually match the truck up pretty cool. So as you can see in the back here, we got a keg. So what we did is I acquired out of Facebook Marketplace just an old Anheuser-Busch keg. It's actually not too old, and it mounted vertically, which you don't see as often. So what I did is I went at it with the plasma cutter. This was just a regular old keg. Cut our circles. We got our supply line directly through the bottom of the bed in the bottom. It's mounted to the bed here with a couple of old bent up rusty wrenches. We welded a couple bungs in here. This is our sight glass. So this is actually our fuel level. So there's no sending unit. This is the fuel level itself. Some leather belts that are hiding some metal straps right here that are on a bracket. And then the tank we ordered online from a place in Florida. They do nothing but specialty fuel tank supplies. This is just a straight up vent, so we don't get splash out of it. And that's the return line. So we get a return and a fill on this fuel tank, and it holds about 15 gallons. So that's about how the fuel tank setup was done. Cab corners, some of the rockers, some patches on the door. We took old license plates, as you can see. Patched them in there. Gotten a lot of love with that. My wife and my son hand painted the doors, which was pretty cool. And our logo there, making old shit shine. And underneath, we've got those are actually 2-chamber Summit brand mufflers coming off some long tube headers that we just added this year. Was the long tube headers. The patina on it is awesome. Like I said, That's completely natural. People work really, really hard to get patina to look like that. And this is exactly how I pulled it patina wise. And all we did was protect it with some linseed oil. So it's had a couple of coats on there now. So it's actually got a nice little kind of a matte finish to it. All right, coming on inside the truck here, we got the more burned wood with linseed oil on it. And that actually comes off a little Red Ryder wagon. And they actually fit in there pretty darn good. Some old leather strap, similar to what's on the fuel tank there, with some bottle caps. And we got an old flattened out Pabst Blue Ribbon can here as a backer to our window crank. And of course, that's our little kill all tires button. Indicates when we're killing our tires, as well as the switch that turns on and off right there. We got a tack. We got a homemade shifter out of some rebar and a custom handle, and it's extended length, which is pretty cool. We got 3 set gauges here to go along with our other ones. We have a fire extinguisher mounted up in the corner and the other door. And let me see if I can get you a shot of the roof. And the roof is loaded with fellow YouTubers and decals as well, and we add those by the day. People who send them to us, they end up on the shop air compressor as well as in this truck. And one quick thing on the floor mats, they're old trucker out of a trailer truck floor mats. Well, they're not floor mats, mud flaps, but they're floor mats in this. So that worked out pretty darn slick. Pretty cool. And you get a couple of nice bad boy decals on there. All right, let's take you to the heart, the under the hood. This is where it gets fun. So always gets people's attention at the shows, draws them in, is our speed limit sign, as well as a few more license plate patches back there. And that one there, it's hard to see, but it's actually another old license plate that we literally peeled it completely off, painted it up, riveted it up, matte black, and then scuffed it up. The air cleaner, this is actually a Good Rinse 350 that's in this thing. Kind of a bent up old valve out of a Briggs & Stratton engine. We use as a air cleaner hold down that I taught my son how to do the governor bypass on the racing lawnmower, and he blew it up. So I didn't tell him on how easy to take it. A lot of talk, a lot of people asking about the Jack Daniels bottles. Put in there and held in there was a custom mount. I have an old Maine license plate, gear out of an old four-wheeler, some braided up copper line, and some wrenches to mount it in there. And one is the windshield washer fluid, and one is the overflow for the radiator. And no, I've never had one explode, and they are glass. Yes, I guess if your radiator overheated to the point where you were boiling over, they could explode, and I've heard of them exploding. Been in there for over a year now and never exploded. There is no pump in the windshield wash overflow. It's just fed through a line here, and actually the windshield washer pump on this truck is part of the windshield washer, the motor, the wiper motor itself. So that's kind of that piece of it. And you probably see the straight up sweat pipe copper heater hoses complete with shutoffs, and I got a lot of hate from people on because they're like, oh my god, those are gonna break, you're gonna ruin your heater core. Nope, they are actually rubber mounted on both ends. And there's another shot of the headers, and I have used these before to shut that off, so that was pretty cool. And you kind of get a view of our ground strap here. This was the original idea. We went with straight up gears and timing chain that's welded in some spots as a ground. However, it didn't ground quite enough like we were hoping, so it was making some hard starting. So we added the bare copper wire as an additional ground. So we kind of got 2 grounds going, one for more aesthetics and one that actually serves a function, complete with vice grips down in there as well. Full core aluminum radiator, 3-core aluminum radiator, some old garage door hinges cut into our shroud mount. And of course, we rerouted our proportioning valve up here that was down there because they suck to get to. And we also put in a kill all tire switch line lock. And the way we have this plumbed is a little different from other people, or straight up drag racing where you would just lock your front brakes until you push the button again. Ours shuts the rear brakes off while you have the switch pressed in. So as long as you're holding the switch, you have no rear brakes. Therefore, you can do a burnout as long, letting off the brake pedal as you want or as you see fit. And you can do burnouts for days. And like I said, that is mounted with a custom bracket that we made as well. And you can see the throttle return spring on the carburetors is an old 10mm, so we'll never be without one, even though in this truck we don't really need it. and another Jack Daniels bottle for a breather tube. Some more copper pipe. But that's the basics under the hood. All right, guys, in a nutshell, that's the overview of our shop truck, the Rat Rod inspired shop truck. It's gotten a lot of love on TikTok. I want to get it some love on YouTube. Tell us what you think about it. Drop a comment if you want a specific of something or how we did it. There's a lot kind of going on behind the scenes on this truck, so feel free to drop us a comment. And if you like the video and you want some more comment, we appreciate it, really appreciate it. If you gave us a follow, you hit the like, you shared the video. Thanks again, guys. Flippin Customized.